What if you could watch some of the greatest war and sci-fi epics ever made, fully restored and completely free? From silent dystopian nightmares to forgotten wartime spectacles, these masterpieces are now streaming legally on YouTube. No sign-ups, no tricks, just history and imagination unleashed. Here are must-watch epic films restored and free right now. Let the countdown begin. The Doomsday Machine, 1972. What happens when Cold War paranoia collides with low-budget sci-fi? You get The Doomsday Machine, a film stitched together from two different productions nearly a decade apart. The result is a cinematic Frankenstein that's both baffling and eerily compelling. The story revolves around a desperate space mission launched after Earth is doomed by a secret Chinese doomsday device. It's one of those movies where the flaws are half the fun. Despite awkward editing and recycled footage, The Doomsday Machine captures the era's nuclear dread with surprising sincerity. The claustrophobic space sets add tension, and the pacing becomes oddly hypnotic. It was long buried in cult obscurity, but has since resurfaced in restored form on YouTube. The new version includes sharper color grading and cleaned-up audio. For fans of So Bad It's Good cinema and Cold War sci-fi themes, this is an atmospheric curiosity you'll want to witness before it vanishes again. Things to Come, 1936. Penned by the legendary H.G. Wells himself, Things to Come is a sci-fi epic decades ahead of its time. It dares to chart humanity's journey from war-torn ruin to spacefaring utopia across 100 years. Directed by William Cameron Menzies, the film stuns with ambitious design sets and prophetic themes that predicted real-world events, including global conflict and lunar colonization. Its visuals were jaw-dropping in the 30s and remain hauntingly poetic even now. The movie's sprawling timeline and philosophical tone set it apart from other genre films of its era. Wells's anti-war message and belief in science-driven progress shine through every frame. Restored versions of the film are now freely streaming on YouTube, allowing modern viewers to see it as it was meant to be seen, with clean audio and revived imagery. A must-watch for classic sci-fi lovers and dreamers alike. Metropolis, 1927. Fritz Lang's Metropolis is more than a silent film. It is the genesis of cinematic science fiction, a visual prophecy carved from German expressionism. This epic tale imagines a futuristic dystopia where the rich live in gleaming towers while the workers suffer underground. Lang's vision is monumental, filled with haunting robot imagery, Art Deco architecture, and revolutionary special effects. It's the blueprint for Blade Runner, Star Wars, and every cyberpunk film that followed. For decades, Metropolis was incomplete. Chunks of the film vanished after its premiere, and versions floated around missing major storylines. But in a stunning twist, a nearly complete 16mm print was found in an Argentine archive in 2008. This discovery led to the most complete restoration yet, now available free on YouTube in select versions. With a reconstructed score and cleaned-up visuals, you can finally experience Metropolis the way it was meant to be seen. Metropolis remains emotionally resonant as it wrestles with labor exploitation technology's dehumanization and the spiritual costs of unchecked progress. The restored footage returns the soul to this cinematic machine. Today, watching Metropolis isn't just entertainment. It's witnessing the birth of modern movie mythos. And thanks to public domain restorations, it is only a click away. Battleship Potemkin, 1925. Sergei Eisenstein's Battleship Potemkin is a thunderclap in film history. Its Odessa step sequence alone changed editing forever, influencing filmmakers from Hitchcock to Coppola. But this Soviet silent war epic is more than a montage experiment. It's a fiery tale of revolt where oppressed sailors rise against a brutal imperial command. Shot with stark realism and passion, it electrifies even without dialogue. Eisenstein's use of dynamic composition, movement, and rhythm creates a visual language of revolution. Every frame screams urgency. Every cut ignites momentum. It was banned or censored in many countries for fear of inciting rebellion. But over the decades, Battleship Potemkin was re-evaluated as one of the most important films ever made. Now fully restored and hosted on several archival YouTube channels, it lives again in crystal-clear transfers. The music has been re-recorded, the nitrate decay erased, and the visual punch preserved. It's raw kinetic cinema that still feels dangerous. Whether you're a history buff film student or just someone curious about what made Eisenstein a legend, this restored version hits like a cannon blast. No subscription required. Just hit play. Alexander Nevsky, 1938. Few films ride the line between propaganda and poetry like Alexander Nevsky. Directed once again by Sergei Eisenstein, this historical war epic depicts Prince Alexander's defense of Russia against the invading Teutonic Knights in the 13th century. The battle scenes on frozen lakes, the stark black and white compositions, and the thunderous Prokofiev score make this a cinematic opera of national resistance. Eisenstein had been exiled from the Soviet film industry but was brought back to create something grand. What he delivered was legendary. The battle on the ice is still one of the most haunting medieval war sequences ever captured, silent but screaming with tension. Though made under Stalin's regime, the film survives as both patriotic myth and visceral war cinema. Every sword swing echoes through political and cinematic history. Restorations of Alexander Nevsky now live on YouTube, uploaded by film archives and classical music institutions. The sound has been remastered and the footage stabilized. For those craving arthouse battlefields and historical grandeur, this is one of the few war films that feels both epic and intimate. Watch it for the history, stay for the music, and marvel at Eisenstein's second cinematic revolution. Behind the Line. Escape to Dunkirk, 2020. While most war films lean on spectacle, Behind the Line brings the horror of World War II down to a personal level. Set during the chaotic retreat to Dunkirk, this British indie war film tells the story of a German soldier who defects and is taken captive by British forces. But what begins as an interrogation turns into a philosophical standoff about honor, survival, and the psychological wreckage of war. It's less about bullets and more about belief. Though low budget, the film makes powerful use of its single location setting and sparse cast. There are no sweeping battlefields or tanks here. Instead, the film draws strength from its writing, claustrophobic tension, and moral ambiguity. Think of it as a chamber war drama, quiet but explosive in its ideas. The performances, especially from the lead captors, are gripping enough to carry the entire runtime without needing flashy effects. Behind the Line was largely overlooked on its initial release, but has since been picked up by YouTube channels that specialize in restoring and archiving recent war dramas. The picture has been digitally sharpened and the sound remastered for streaming. It's a different kind of war story, one that gets under your skin rather than over your head. And for fans of intimate Waiwu narratives, it's a hidden treasure worth discovering for free. Eagle Wings, 2021. Eagle Wings is a rare gem in the world of war cinema, an African military epic that soars with pride and purpose. Directed by Paul Apel Papel, this Nigerian action drama follows the pilots of the Nigerian Air Force as they battle against insurgents in the country's volatile northeast. Combining patriotism with polished aerial sequences and grounded human drama, the film offers a perspective rarely seen in mainstream cinema. At its core, Eagle Wings is about duty. The pilots are more than soldiers. They're protectors of a homeland under threat. Their camaraderie is portrayed with warmth and honesty, while the flight sequences are surprisingly cinematic thanks to cooperation with real Air Force resources. It's one of the first Nollywood films to successfully bridge blockbuster action with emotional storytelling and national reflection. Now streaming free on YouTube through authorized African cinema channels, Eagle Wings is available in restored high-definition quality. Subtitles are included for accessibility, and the print features clean color grading. It's not just an action film, it's a cultural milestone in African war cinema. If you're tired of the same old World War II narratives, this one delivers something radically different and urgently modern. Come and See, 1985. Come and See is not just a war film. It is a scream carved in celluloid. Directed by Elem Klimov, this Soviet anti-war masterpiece drags you through the psychological hell of a young boy caught in the Nazi invasion of Belarus. There are no heroic charges, no patriotic speeches, only trauma silence and eyes that forget how to blink. It's considered one of the most emotionally brutal films ever made. Using handheld cinematography, real explosives, and long, unbroken takes, Klimov brings the war into the viewer's lap. The actors, especially the teenage lead, were pushed to their emotional limits with live fire and prolonged takes designed to replicate trauma. Sound design mimics shell shock. Music vanishes into tinnitus. Scenes of burning villages are not staged, they are lived. This is not entertainment. It's immersion into madness. Come and See has been restored in stunning 2K and 4K versions, and although it rotates availability, it can often be found legally uploaded with subtitles on YouTube by film restoration groups or Eastern European cultural archives. If you only watch one war film in your life, let it be this one. Just don't expect to forget it. H.G. Wells, The Man Who Could Work Miracles, 1936. Before superhero films, before Twilight Zone, before Marvel or DC, there was a humble black and white sci-fi parable about power gone terribly wrong. H.G. Wells, The Man Who Could Work Miracles, directed by Lothar Mendez, takes the concept of omnipotence and turns it into a wry, explosive critique of human nature. The story follows a meek Englishman who suddenly gains godlike powers and uses them in increasingly absurd ways until the consequences become cosmic. This wasn't pulp, it was prophecy. The film dares to ask what would truly happen if man could alter reality. The answer? Arrogance, destruction, and the terrifying reminder that humanity isn't mature enough to wield godlike influence. As the protagonist remakes the world, the tone shifts from comedy to chilling introspection. It's lighthearted, then catastrophic, then hauntingly quiet. The restored version, now streaming on YouTube, brings clarity to the film's visual metaphors and dry wit. Thanks to public domain access and film preservation societies, the movie is available in cleaned-up prints with fresh subtitles and frame corrections. It's short, sharp, and unsettling, a forgotten sci-fi parable with more relevance in the digital age than ever before. Watch it for the novelty stay, for the eerie insight. H.G. Wells warned us, and now YouTube lets us hear him again loud and clear. From silent legends to overlooked masterpieces, these war and sci-fi epics are no longer buried in history. Restored and streaming for free, they offer raw emotion, vision, and cinematic power. Dive into YouTube's treasure trove before the uploads vanish. Like, share, and keep this legacy alive. One click can resurrect an epic.